Happy Friday, America. Welcome back to another fun episode of ridiculous news that I'm going to be covering with my awesome co-host. My name is Arthur. Really excited to be in here. We've been keeping this one moving. Got a lot of great things on this episode. And, of course, who's across the couch from me? That's Kevin, Mr. Can't Be Controlled Batstone.
Well, happy Friday, America. Thanks again for joining us here on this, as Art said, ridiculous program. We're here to have fun. We're here to kick your weekend off right. Let's go, Art.
Yep, we're going to kick this off with Today in History. As always, we're staying consistent on that. So one that I thought was interesting, 1803 on August 9th, is the first horse arrives in Hawaii. So there's a bunch of cool horse history. Apparently horses never existed on the North American continent until settlers came. And then the Native American tribes in North America, all of a sudden these horses came up from South America. And they're like, what is this magical animal? They didn't know that that was like a precursor to North America also getting colonized. The horses came before the colonizers. So horse history is kind of cool. And I had no idea that 1803 was the first time that they arrived in Hawaii. America existed as a nation at that point.
It did. Hawaii wasn't quite a state yet, but that's pretty interesting. That I did not know that. That's a good trivia question, keeping the old
That is a good
back
one.
Pocket.
That is a good one. 1898, Rudolf Diesel of, he's a German guy. He obtains a patent. It's patent number 608,845, and this was for his internal combustion engine, which would later be known as the diesel engine. So the diesel engine was first created 1898. And then moving into some nuke news here, you know, it's been a minute. I don't think I covered nuke news in a couple weeks. So this one is actually a big one. 1945, U.S. drops the second atomic bomb, Fat Man, on Nagasaki, Japan, destroying part of the city. You know, we get a lot of nuclear tests in nuke news, and this was the second nuke and the last nuke that was used within warfare against an enemy. So that's kind of crazy.
Pretty impressive.
That's kind of crazy. That stuff changed the world, man.
Sure did.
Also, 1966, the Beatles released their Yellow Submarine single and its album Revolver in the U.S.
It's a big one.
A lot of people love the Beatles. I mean, great musicians.
It's my parents' wedding song. Not Yellow Submarine, but one of the Beatles songs.
Okay. I think you mentioned that before here.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, like, whenever I see the Beatles, because I know Mama listens, so I'm always like, let me put some Beatle news in here for Mama.
Yeah, Mom likes the Beatles.
1974, Richard Nixon resigns as President of the United States, and Vice President Gerald Ford swears an oath in the office as the 38th president.
Ah, good old Watergate. You know, the start of the times where you couldn't get away with shit anymore, and there was bugs in the room, and you were always on mic.
I know. And now we all carry them around.
Yeah.
Now we're carrying around our bug tap mics. It's like they're not.
Yep.
They don't even need to tap the phones because they already got them in our pockets.
No need for Watergate. We got Pocketgate, baby.
Pocketgate is for real, and it's a PC. It's a pocket computer.
Sure is.
A personal cell phone. So 1978. USSR performs an underground nuclear test, and that is Today in History. A couple nuke things there. I like the horse history. And moving on to the next one, we're talking about cocaine. We're talking about Florida.
Good old Florida. Florida man. So Florida got absolutely wrecked by Hurricane Debby earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
My good buddy Cletus McFarland down there in Clearwater, Florida, he does all the racing videos. Great feller. Great YouTuber. His whole track got completely flooded. I mean, he was taking a jet boat down the drag strip where cars are supposed to race. Took boats down it. That's how much water Florida got. And so anytime you get hurricane, debris washes up, things wash up ashore. Well, I bet you didn't expect $1 million worth of cocaine to wash up. You might have expected a little cocaine, right? We heard about the cocaine sharks. We covered them about a year ago. We see this going on the shores of Florida. A lot of cocaine coming into Florida. But Hurricane Debby washed up $1 million worth of the booger sugar. Pretty impressive stuff. Obviously, it was seized and captured immediately. U.S. Border Patrol seized the drugs. They added it was about $1 million value, which, I don't know, you convert that into weight. I mean, that's got to be good, for $1 million worth of blow, probably 50 to 75 pounds.
Something within 100.
Yeah, within 100 pounds.
Now, if you came across this type of copious amount of cocaine, would you, obviously you got to report it and like do all that, but would you just keep a little bit?
No. No, I don't think I'd keep any of it. I don't do cocaine
Not
anymore.
even for your friends?
No.
No.
No, I don't trust the drug anymore. It's not what it once was, and you got the shit coming in through the drug cartels and stuff. It's no good.
Yeah.
It's no good. So no, I probably wouldn't. Somebody probably would, or a couple few, but yeah, just hurricanes washing up shit onto the shore. Florida's always getting wrecked by the rains down there. That's just part of what happens in Florida. But I just found this interesting. $1 million worth of cocaine was something that washed up.
That's a lot.
From the hurricane.
I remember we covered something similar on Happy Friday in the past, and it was like the mayor was involved or something.
There was a fishing trip.
Yeah, it was like a mayoral fishing trip, and then the mayor He caught cocaine.
Caught a pack of cocaine off the shores of Tampa. So there's a lot of cocaine going on in Florida, but certainly didn't expect $1 million to wash up during the old hurricane.
No, that's definitely a lot, and those. It reminds me of this movie that's an old one, it's called Deep Blue or whatever, and it's wherever they there's this plane that crashes with cocaine, and they find it with the boat, and then they end up trying to sell the cocaine, and then they end up getting in trouble with the cartels that the cocaine belonged to.
Wasn't that with Patrick Swayze and Mark Wahlberg?
No, that one was I think I know which one you're talking about. No, it was the race car driver who died, Paul. He was in the Fast and Furious.
Oh, Paul Walker.
Yeah, Paul Walker and Jessica Alba.
Into the Blue?
Into the Blue, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of that. If you're finding this amount of cocaine, you can't sell it because you're going to end up trying to sell it to the people who it belongs to.
Right. You really can't. I mean, and it's just interesting that much blow. We've talked about it numerous times now. Got caught fishing. The sharks are eating it. We got it washing up during hurricanes. It's crazy the amount of how much cocaine is channeled into Florida. Mm-hmm. Obviously it comes in through the Mexican border, through Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and those areas. But Florida seems to be the cocaine highway.
I mean, it's cocaine derives from Colombia, and there's a lot of Colombia populations out there too, so there just connects.
Yeah,
it just connects.
It does connect, but that's just crazy. So I mean, a boat or something coming in, carrying it, whatever, knocked it over, got washed up on the shore. I'm sure there's a bunch of other shit that got washed up from Hurricane Debby. The pictures I've seen, it was crazy.
That is, and there's a lot of other shit that's washing up at this lady's concerts, and definitely this one's not the biggest laughing matter, but everyone knows who Taylor Swift is, the Swifties out there. Look, I got a lot of respect for the artist. She's a great ghostwriter to a lot of people. She's talented. The hype is big and real around her, and Vienna police foiled a plan to... so Vienna police foiled a plan that people had to attack some of her concerts. So they canceled 3 of her concerts in Vienna, and they go into this. So
yeah,
the kid... I'm calling him a kid because he's 19. This was an Austrian who pledged allegiance to the Islamic State group in recent weeks, and apparently had all this stuff going on where they were planning on doing some kind of horrendous act during a big event, and were alluding to the Taylor Swift concert. And so they canceled 3 of these concerts. And we all remember back in 2017 the Ariana Grande, how they did that bombing there, and that killed 22 people at that time, and that's horrible, right?
Not good.
So people are going to a concert to have fun, and unfortunately there's these extremist groups out there that want to use this as an opportunity to hurt people.
Yeah.
For whatever religious reason. So there's 2 people total that were caught within this plotting attempt. They felt very confident. They arrested these guys, but it's just crazy out there, man, that people are just trying to show up, have a good time at these shows, and that there's how come people just can't be chill, Jeff?
I just don't think that's ever going to exist, unfortunately. You're always going to have a little bit of chaos. You're always going to have an opposing force, somebody out there trying to create some chaos. And, unfortunately, the ISIS did claim responsibility for this. ISIS, of course, stands for the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. And they're just a very, very extreme group of individuals that, basically convert people to do bad things based on religious beliefs, based on their, organized crime. Yeah,
this kid's getting recruited online.
Yeah.
And that's so how are they finding their victims to recruit, their recruitment victims? That's crazy to me that they're indoctrinating people into your religion to be yeah, it makes sense for me to go kill people now.
Yeah.
That's a big shift.
Look at the Boston Marathon bombing. Very similar situation where the older brother spent time over in the Islamic State, came back, convinced his brother, who was like a super chill guy. Everyone loved him in the Boston area. They convinced his brother, from what he learned over there, to go blow up the Boston Marathon and
That's
kill
crazy.
people and blow their arms and shit off. It's just unfortunate. So, the Intelligence Committee, whoever, was behind this and put this investigation together, good call, I think, on postponing the shows. If you have a legitimate threat like that, it's better to just call it off, than to take your chances in that scenario, when you're threatening that many lives of explosives and stuff. So good call there. I, do know a couple people that had a hell of a time getting over there. Apparently air traffic was crazy. There was planes canceled. People were arriving there already delayed to find out that then the show was canceled.
Yeah.
So just not a good time for some of these concert goers.
And some of these people are spending like $2,500 for the ticket to sit in nosebleed.
Oh yeah.
Like she's like selling these ridiculously high priced tickets. The demand for this is crazy.
It's nuts. Yeah, T Swizzle's taken over the world for sure. I don't agree with a lot of her opinions on things outside of music, but she's a fantastic entertainer. I can see why people want to go see her. I wouldn't spend that kind of money, but
No.
Unfortunately, they had to. I'm sure she'll make it up in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Whatever that looks like over there. But man, pretty crazy world we live in right now, and things are unsettled in the UK.
It is pretty crazy out there, and hoping that everybody can keep their differences and just respect it. It's fun. Like, we could all share this planet. Like, we can be different.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But I know one way that you don't get touched by anyone. You become a bodybuilding chef.
Yeah, that's right. In time for my random records, David Rush still has the week off.
Come on, Rush.
He's enjoying his time.
It's pissing me off
I
already.
know. Silvio Saba. I used to piss you out how much he was in the news. Now it's like, where is he?
Well, it's because he like just plateaued. I was saying the same thing last week.
Yeah.
It's the same opinion.
So we got another record this week. This one's pretty fun, actually. If you want to scroll down and click that link and take a look at this lad, pretty amazing stuff here. So he takes chopping to the next level.
Okay.
I mean, like if he were to do a Cooking with Kev, it would just be, I'd be blown away by this man's chopping skills. Old Wallace Wong, 33 years old, ripped, super ripped, right? Great shape. He's out here setting records by slicing and dicing the produce art. He was able to slice 14 tomatoes in under a minute. He did celery, 9 stalks of it, in 30 seconds. Ridiculous numbers here, from peppers to garlic. He is a slicing, dicing machine, and he was able to set a new record as far as time sliced. And it's not about just going ham with the knife and, beating the record.
Does he have like the metal glove on too?
He doesn't have a metal glove on. No, he just has like
protective gloves.
just like the black gloves like I use to slice meat and shit.
Okay.
Sanitary gloves. And he's out there just getting it, man. Just slicing and dicing this thing up. But not just to get the record. Like, the tomato slices are legit. I saw a video on like how to properly dice a tomato, because whenever I did it, it would just turn into a mucky mess. There's like actually a way to do it with the root, and he's just sitting there slicing and dicing this thing faster than you can imagine.
Wow. And it looks like he also cooked a dish with this too.
Correct.
Like, he wasn't just slicing and dicing, but he also made like a world record vegetable noodle dish.
Yeah, I want to taste.
I mean, look, if you're talking about some of my biggest weaknesses, noodles is one of them.
Really? Interesting.
I do like some pasta, any type of noodles.
I do like noodles.
Get some stuffed noodles. Like, ravioli is a noodle.
Yeah, it's pasta.
Like stuffed.
Yeah.
And pasta is a noodle.
It is. I do love pasta. I gotta hand it to you. But I could do without it, unlike some other food groups. But pretty cool. Bodybuilder, slicing and dicing, getting records, taking names, kicking ass.
I don't know how to properly slice an onion. I feel like I kind of learned the way, but then I forget because I never learned the proper way and remembered.
Well, there's a couple ways. Like, there's the way to do it so you don't cry. There's a way
Okay.
the way to do it so you have like the half moons, if you like your onions like that, or there's like the diced, real fine diced.
Yeah.
A couple different ways to do it. I mean, as long as you have a good sharp knife and you got consistent cutting techniques, I think it's going to turn out okay. Some people get a little bit anal about their onion pieces.
Yeah. There's a lot of things I want to say that I can't. Kevin and I are talking about releasing a new show where it's just off cuff. No restrictions. We're saying whatever we want. I don't know.
I don't know if it'd be a new show. It'd probably be an existing show that we just don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah. On DCPC?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
That would be the one to do it on.
A discussion eruption. Either way, this is the Would You Rather this week is not going to be so pleasant, but of course we have to revisit last week's Would You Rather, and it was comparing eating wet cat food for the rest of your life compared to insects. I'm really curious to see how people selected.
Yeah, we're going to have another kind of a tough go here on the Would You Rather, but surprisingly, I wasn't expecting one to outweigh the other. I think both you and I unanimously went insects.
Yes.
America was split on this one. America
Really?
went 50-50, which
No.
I kind of thought would be the case, but I thought more people were going to go with the cat food. I really did.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
You know, because people get
It was
grossed out
really
by bugs.
50-50?
50-50 on the
Really?
bugs and the cat food.
Okay.
On our Twitter X poll over there, Happy Fry USA, get involved with the polls every time they go up, or drop a comment below. 50-50. So, you know, and I feel like that's fair because either way, that was a tough one last week.
Yeah.
Bugs, cat food. You know, I think we made a good argument for both, but I'm sticking with the bugs.
I'm sticking with the bugs too. And for those of you who want to eat the cat food, like I want to meet somebody who wants to eat cat food.
When it's put up against bugs, yeah.
Because everyone that I
You had the
asked,
context there.
everyone that I asked in person was like, I want to eat insects. So I have not met a live action person who would go for the cat food yet. So
Let's ask all the cat ladies out there. I'm sure they would.
Let's get in touch. I mean, look, I'm sure some people have tried it too. Like, it's okay if you tried it.
I ate dog food when I was a kid.
Yeah, you know, we try things. We got to try things.
Yeah, I'm curious.
This week's Would You Rather is about pain. And you don't want either of these things, but you have to pick anyway. So, would you rather stub your big toe every single night before you go to sleep? Thank you, Eric, for the inspiration. Or would you rather bite the inside of your mouth every single time you eat?
It's a shitty would you rather. Kind of not as bad as the bug, or almost worse than the bugs in the cat food because that's
feel
not
like
a
this one's a
painful
little
thing.
worse.
This one has pain involved.
This one's worse. Both would really suck.
I hate biting the inside of my mouth because you deal with it for a few. It's like it becomes like a canker sore almost.
Yeah, and then you
got
keep
like
biting the same spot.
Yeah, and you got to chew on one side. So that's an inconvenience. Stubbing your toe sucks.
Yeah, and especially right before you sleep. Like,
I mean, are we talking like with injury, like it's bleeding, you're breaking your possible break in the toe?
you know, the severity of this
Of the stubbing.
You're stubbing your toe. It doesn't feel good. A little context: my brother the other night stubbed his toe on a 10-pound weight, and it
gotta hurt.
it not his big toe, but the one next to it,
The middle toe.
and it knocked like the toenail off.
Oh, I could see that.
It was that bad.
I got one of them toes that my
pretty
middle one's
crucial.
longer than the big toe.
Yeah.
So it's out there for injury.
Mm-hmm. I don't know which one I want to go with.
I'm going stubbing toes
You're stubbing your toe
instead
over...
of biting my lip or biting my cheek or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, they both suck. So either way, you're gonna take some pain. But I think I could get used to hammer toes and banging it into shit every day
and still sleep peacefully.
Yeah, I think you get used to it if you're knocking that thing every day.
What's like a Thai kickboxer or something, like they're beating down their shins, like eventually
they're getting beat up.
Eventually, it doesn't hurt anymore.
I feel like I would rather do that than have to deal with a mouth sore basically all the time.
And since I had like the as you're going to sleep opposed to every time you eat, I'm going with the stub toe too because it's once a day. It might be right before I go to sleep. I just go to sleep earlier so I can get through the pain. I know I'm going to stub my toe, so it's like, all right, here we go again. What's it going to be on today?
Yeah.
But yeah, I would rather not. I would rather stub my toe over biting the inside of my cheek every single time I ate. Because that's the worst.
They're both a little rough. And sometimes the would you rathers just get rough. Sometimes they're a little bit fun. This one is going to be painful. So let us know, America, which one are you choosing? Are you banging your toe or are you biting that cheek?
Yes, let us know. Moving on next.
Oh boy.
We got big boys in the Olympics.
We're going back to some Olympic talk. It's almost over. I'm sick of the Olympics personally. I'm ready for it to be over. It looks like America's doing well though. Hooray. I haven't watched any of it. Well, that's not true. I did watch this, but it was not live action. It was after the fact, so I got the article. So for the folks that haven't heard yet, during the pole vaulting, there was a man with an extremely large penis. And I believe his name is Anthony Ammirati. I believe he's an Italian feller.
Okay, that makes sense.
Those Italians got big penises.
Yes.
I think the Samoans have the biggest, but I'm not sure.
I don't know who has the biggest.
I know it's not my heritage. Us Polacks not coming in great statistics there. But this feller has one, and I think when you have one, you gotta admire it. I mean, this thing is this is a piece of art. This penis.
Yeah, and it's not like he wasn't aroused.
No, he wasn't aroused. This thing was flat.
But sometimes when you're doing like physical domination or like like wrestling or like some kind of sport, sometimes you get a little aroused. It's primal.
It's a different type of arousal though.
Yeah, but you're still like ready.
Yeah, you're ready. And this guy was ready. He was so ready that his penis disqualified him from the pole vault. Which is kind of ironic when you think about the big pole that he's using. His pole ended up not qualifying for the pole vault. Anyway, so you can see in the video as he's getting ready to, what would be the word? Not eclipse, but, go over.
Go over, yes.
Basically, as you can see in my demonstration here in this video program, that as he arrived right at the top of what he would be summiting this pole to clear, his penis and his groin area whacked the pole, right? So this is the pole. He comes in and his penis just knocks that thing, and then he's disqualified.
Yeah.
You think, wow, that sucks. He's out of the Olympics. Well, think again, because he might not have a new career path. Okay, folks around the world got wind of this enormous penis, and they think money, money, money. Let's go into porn. So he's getting offers left and right from pornography because of the size of this thing.
Yeah, but I mean, like, is this a married man? Is he single? Like,
I don't know. I'm not sure if I know anything about his story.
That's like, okay, if I was a single dude and all of a sudden my Big Johnson got discovered during the pole vaulting during the Olympics, like, maybe you go do that for a year, like do the porn for a year, and then you, because it's so niche and it's hot right now, everyone's gonna be searching it. You probably get all these endorsements because you're an Olympic athlete, porn star. So it's like, you got to pay me more than your average porn star. I'm an Olympic athlete.
It's true. He's got some negotiating room.
And but only depending on his marital status. Maybe they have an open marriage. Like, who knows?
Yeah, there's some factors there for sure, and that's a good point, because I don't know if this lad's single or has the ability to do pornography. And maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's just like, I don't want to do that. I want to stick to Olympic pole vaulting, and chase my dream there. But either way, a lot of folks know who this guy is. He's probably getting tired of folks talking about his penis at this point. He's like, come on, guys, my eyes are up here. He's kind of feeling that, I feel like. So, good effort out there, Anthony, for getting out there and trying to win that pole vault competition. What can you do? You did your best, and your penis just didn't cooperate. Sometimes they don't sync up.
No, they don't sometimes, and you're like, come on.
Yeah, they just don't.
But I could picture this guy being like, afterwards, he's like, damn it, I just wanted to be known for this epic pole vaulter and like my athleticism, and now everyone's just talking about my cock.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the talk of the town is about this man's Johnson, and God bless him. It's a nice one.
Yeah, hey, it's a fun video to watch too. Heterosexual male here. I gave it a look. I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely.
And so last week there's some controversy. We're sticking to Olympics. We're talking boxing in the Olympics and the female boxing, and we all know the controversy that's going around this. Was this or was this not a woman in this boxing bout? And I've been hearing a lot of both. Like, no, this was a woman in this event. No, it's, we can't determine. And so I did a lot of research today. I did some more to double confirm this, and I couldn't find anything definitive. So with that being said, I kind of just wanted to touch this topic one more time, because this is an important type of topic that is not going anywhere. Like, if people want to transgender, that's fine. This person, they may have been, what did they call it again?
Intersex.
Intersex. Like, there are people born with both genitalia. And so, technically, that if they were intersex, then technically they wouldn't just be a female. And, like, I don't know if they should have competed there or not. So there's, like, a lot of controversy around this. But ultimately, how I'm going to kind of wrap up my thought on what we were talking about last week with this and bringing it up again this week is that in order to have these different events, there should just be a consistent way to definitively say if somebody, what they were born as or not. We should be able to just definitively say that and be like, yeah, you can't compete against people that weren't your same gender when you were born. And I don't care if that hurts anybody's feelings. And a lot of the people that are hurting through this and that it's damaging the most is actual women, like women who were born female, because now they're like in these sports dealing with these type of things, or all the women's stalls and stuff. Like, look, if a F to M entered into a male restroom and used the bathroom, they're going to go into the stall more than likely. I'm not getting offended by that. But when an M to F goes into a female's restroom and is like standing to pee and stuff and still identifying as a woman, like, men are creepier than women are. So they're more likely to do weird sexual things. And so, like, I feel like women are suffering the most through all this transgender talk and this and that. I know it's a heated subject. We don't normally get political on this stuff.
We have been recently.
But I just wanted to kind of talk that about it and be like, this is where it's at. Like, I couldn't figure out if it was a woman or not. And it's so funny how there's all these different articles saying one or the other. But when you can't find a definitive, yes, it was a woman, then it's like,
What
are you led to believe?
Well, yeah, and like you and I were talking about a little bit off mic, there was a reason that all this started. They didn't just pick someone and go, you know what, we're going to start this trans propaganda that isn't real. It started from somewhere, and where it started was in the International Boxing Association, where 2 failed gender tests. You know, this is confirmed. They tried competing on a global scale before the Olympics and didn't pass a gender test. What that means, I don't know. I'm not sure what that means, other than that they weren't able to definitively say what gender they are. So therefore, in my mind, that should disqualify you from competing in men's, women's, whatever you're going to compete in. If you fail the test, you shouldn't be able to compete. If I fail a driving test, I don't get a driver's license. So that's where I'm going to stand on it. I don't know if it's a woman or not.
Or
not
if
sure.
they were born with both.
Intersex, it's possible. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but technically, you know, by the rules or whatever, the Olympics might have different rules than some of these other boxing leagues. You know, you fail the gender test, you don't compete. Mm-hmm. I think let's just simplify it to that, and just that's it. You fail the test, you can't compete.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree with that. And, you know, let's just make it a safe world for everybody, and especially competing in sports. There's an obvious disadvantage to women born as women when they're competing against an M to F. Like, that's obvious. Like, come on.
It's definitely a war on women. That. The trans movement is a war on women. Those are my words. It's unfortunate. Ladies, we're here for you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But moving into being able to test things.
This is pretty cool.
And looking back into history.
Yeah.
We're looking at scientists found an arm bone of something interesting.
Yeah, I figured you'd like this article. That's why I put it last. And this is a fun one. I don't know anything about hobbits. I never was a Lord of the Rings guy or anything like that. But what we are learning here is that somewhere in the Indonesia area, you know, somewhere out there in the Pacific oceans, they were able to determine that they found somewhere between 100 and 100,000 years old human bone that was a toddler size hobbit bone is what it kind of resembled. And they were able to determine that the teeth, you know, which is crazy that teeth can last that long in a skeletal form.
Yeah.
You know, you think about, you know, the decay that people deal with in you know, 100-year lifespan.
Well, it's because they're eating sugar and shit. Yeah, like, if you just leave your teeth alone.
They're going to last. I mean, you can say the same about your bones and what forth. But in any case, they were able to determine that this was a hobbit-like. They're putting enough evidence together between this arm bone that they found and the teeth and the area and the discoveries all put together that there was hobbit-like people existing the earth at one time.
So what makes a hobbit-like person, and this is just a question, I don't expect you to have the answer, but what makes a hobbit-based person different than a normal
little person
today dwarf?
Yeah, a little person.
A little person, is dwarf offensive?
Probably. Little person's probably offensive as well. I mean, you know.
Everyththing's offensive.
Everything's offensive. I'm offended.
I'm offended.
I'm offended. But
I'm impatient is what I really am.
I get impatient on I-25 here in Denver, damn it. I just think this is interesting because, you know, I've also seen things in history that claimed there was giants. You know, guys that were 10, 12 feet
there's
tall.
There's currently giants in, like, Afghanistan and shit.
Giants existed. There's some evidence of that. Like, you look at Stonehenge, and it's like there was probably some large people that built this. Or some of these cathedrals that were built around the globe. You go, man, they didn't have scissor lifts and the equipment to build some of this shit and get it way up high. So, like, you know, there's too much uncertainty to say humans have been this, we didn't evolve from that. It's just this. We're learning too much to say definitively one way or the other. You know, I think it's busted too far wide open that hobbits existed, giants probably existed. Who knows? Maybe we did come from fucking squirrels and apes. I don't know, but when you follow the science, which is not a term I like to use very often because that whole thing is a religion in itself, but shit like this, we can carbon date and you can find things and go, this is a bone that does not resemble of what a current human is. I think it makes for a fun talking point.
I mean, it is a fun one, and I would like to think that they lived in burrows in the hills. I would also like to think that they had first and second breakfast. Do you know what that means? Do you know the reference that I'm getting at?
I immediately think you're Kevin Malone from The Office when you say that.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sure you remember that.
Yeah, I do. But it's in Lord of the Rings. Like, these hobbits,
I figured.
Like, first, but what about another breakfast?
You know what I love about Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. The tomato eating scene.
The grotesque tomato eating scene.
Yeah.
Is fantastic.
It's pretty funny. It is a pretty funny scene.
People need to watch it.
It's actually a sad scene in the movie.
But when you watch it in the context that it was presented to me,
yes,
it's hilarious.
Yeah, that is pretty hilarious. But, I mean, look, I would like to think that these little people had very hairy feet, and they just really enjoyed their life, were super jolly and peaceful.
Hairy feet? Mm-hmm. I wonder why their feet were hairy.
Because that's how the hobbits are in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay.
They got, like, these massively hairy feet.
I wonder if that's still a thing. Within, like, because, we're pretty hairy men, but I don't think my feet are hairy.
Do you have toe on your hair toe?
Do I have
toe hair?
Do I have toe in my hair?
Toe hair.
I got toe hair for
Yeah.
sure. But it's on like the knuckle part of the toe.
Yeah. Does it get long?
It gets pretty long.
Mine will get so long.
You don't shave it, do you? You shave your toe hair?
Yeah. Only I buzz it and occasionally because sometimes when you're wearing socks and it like presses the toe hair down and then I like take the sock off and move the toe hair.
You get a toe hawk?
No, you know how hair can hurt sometimes?
Yeah.
Like I get that on my toe knuckle.
Okay.
Have you ever had that happen?
No, I haven't had the painful.
Where your toe hair hurt your toe?
I think I'm coining a new phrase, and that's the toe hawk.
The toe hawk.
And that's when you got your toe hair flip back in the form you're saying.
A tope.
That's a tope or a toe hawk.
Stupid.
If you're stubbing your toe, you got to be careful with that toe hawk.
Yeah, you use the tope to hold the nail down. I don't know.
Yeah, so they had hairy feet, and apparently they weren't very large humans. So to your point, yeah, would that be considered a little person today? Because if we dig up a little person's remains in 100,000 years from now, what are they going to be called?
Or was there just one bone? Do we know that there was a group of them, or maybe it was just a prehistoric dwarf?
It could be a prehistoric dwarf, and they're just calling it a hobbit. I mean, it's basically the same thing, right? Like, because if we're tying Hobbit to Lord of the Rings, then obviously it starts to become a little bit, I don't want to say fantasy, but Lord of the Rings is a bit of a fantasy
maybe
world.
It's a little bit more accepted. Like if you talk about things like within fantasy, sci-fi lore, you like start comparing things to like things that people enjoy. Like, you take something disturbing or like that's controversial, and then you start talking about it in like Harry Potter terms. Does that make it more palatable for people to listen to?
Maybe.
And like less offensive?
Yeah, maybe. And maybe that term, hobbit, it's just kind of a fun word, I think.
Hobbit is a fun word. And, I mean, I got to rewatch the trilogies, too, for Lord of the Rings. My girl has not seen those. But that's a commitment, watching that. And we're moving on to the weekend. What are we committing to doing this weekend? I don't want to do anything personally, but there's some stuff happening here in America.
Yes, there is. We got the Watermelon Festival going on down in Hope, Arkansas. Watermelon season's here. It's fantastic. I love watermelon.
Watermelon ice cream?
I don't like watermelon ice cream.
Have you had fried watermelon?
Yes.
Did you ever do the smoked watermelon?
No.
Okay.
That needs to happen, though.
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, the smoked watermelon does
I've
look
never
pretty
had
good.
fried watermelon. You've had fried watermelon?
It was deep fried.
Yeah, deep fried.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Was
I think
it
it was at like a state fair.
Was it good?
I don't remember. It
wasn't
doesn't
that
stand
good,
out.
It wasn't that good.
Yeah, I don't think it was
if you
that
don't
good.
remember.
Well, anything fried kind of all tastes the same.
Yeah, a little grease.
But I don't know if they're frying watermelons here in Hope, Arkansas. Probably. Hope, Arkansas seems like a place where they would fry a lot of things. But yeah, if you want to get some seeds and go out there and eat that juicy fruit, Hope, Arkansas might be the place. That's going on tomorrow.
Yeah. Also going on tomorrow in Millsboro, Delaware, we have the Delaware Seafood Festival.
Yum, yum, get you some.
If I could eat any kind of seafood right now, it would definitely be like a lobster roll, a lobster roll.
Give me them scallops, baby. I love them scallops.
Yeah. Are you still allergic to?
I don't think so. I
shellfish?
really don't think so.
Have you had lobster then?
I have not tested it with lobster. I have a hard time eating lobster here in a landlocked state. If I was back home,
they fry it in fresh.
I know.
Centennial.
I know. I get it.
I mean, it's like just more expensive here.
When I'm in New Hampshire next year, I'm gonna eat lobster. That is a promise.
Take your time with it. I'd hate to see you go out like that.
Eating lobster.
Yeah.
At least the boy went out happy.
I know, right?
And I'll tell you what makes me happy is NASCAR is back, baby. I'll tell you, these 2-3 week break that I had from NASCAR, I'm not used to this stuff, guys, unless it's wintertime. It's the middle of the summer. I had no racing. Racing is back. Mash the gas. We're back Monday night. We are in Richmond, Virginia, one of my favorite racetracks. Night race, under the lights. Last chance to make the playoffs for Martin Truex Jr. Don't know what's going to happen. Xfinity Series there Saturday, all weekend long in Virginia. So if you're in the Richmond area, go out there and check the track out. It's a lot of fun. Great racetrack. Great community. NASCAR's back, baby.
Mash it. And maybe you're going to make some mashed potatoes.
Ooh, potatoes sound good. I'm actually thinking about doing, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Hopefully you guys come over for the race, though.
Okay. Sunday night.
Sunday evening.
Yep,
Sunday evening.
So evening starts at 4 p.m.
It does? Well, it's not afternoon. Well, afternoon would be anything from 12:01, technically, until midnight would be afternoon.
What?
It would be.
Till midnight?
Well, think about it. It's
well,
afternoon.
then when's the night?
Well, midnight is the middle of the night.
So you're saying anything afternoon is after literally noon?
Well, 8 p.m. is after noon. It's not before noon.
Yeah, but that's not like the after. I see what you're doing here. I think the evening starts at like 4:30.
It's got to be after 5.
You think the evening starts at 5?
Yeah, because most people get off work at 5.
Okay.
Which
they
is
get
like
off in the evening.
Early evening.
Uh-huh.
And then the evening is like 6 p.m., I think.
Yeah.
Like 6 to 10 is the evening, and then like 10 on is like nighttime. Like it's late night.
What is this? Discussion Combustion? Thanks for tuning in to an awesome episode of Happy Friday, America, Kev.
Yes, let's shut it down. Let's get out of here. Enjoy your weekend, America. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Happy Friday. Across the board, you can do the Twitter polls over there at Happy Fry, not like a French fry, but like fry the day, over there at Twitter X. Get involved with polls, hang out, have some fun. We'll see you next week before Art takes off for Sweden, and we have some guest host coming in that we don't know who that is yet. All the fun coming your way. Happy Friday, America.